Om Vakratunda Mahakaya Suryakoti Samaprabha Nirvignam Kuru Me Deva Sarvakaryeshu Sarvada Om Shri Mahaganapataye Namaha Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam Asmadgurubhyo Namaha Shrutismrutipurananamalaya Karunalaya Namami Bhagavatpadam Shankaram Lokashankaram Shankaram Shankaracharyam Keshavam Badarayanam Sutra Bhashya Kritau Vande Bhagavantau Punah Punah Ishvaro Guru Ratmete Murti Bheda Vibhagine Vyomavad Vyapta Dehaya Dakshinamurtaye Namaha Om Shri Medha Dakshinamurti Swamine Namaha Om Sahana Vavatu Sahano Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu Ma Vidvishavahai Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om Om Bhadram Karne Vishrunuyama Devaha Bhadram Pashyemakshabhiryajatraha Sthirairangaye Stuttavagum Sastanubihi Yashema Devahitam Yadayuhu Swasti na Indro Vriddhashravaha Swasti na Pusha Vishwavedaha Swasti nastarksho Arishthanemihi Swasti no Brihaspatir Dhadatu Om Shanti 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 Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha Harihi Om. So Namaste once again everyone.
Namaste Guruji.
Namaste Guruji.
Namaste.
And
Namaste Guruji.
Shankaracharya and Shankaracharya's tomorrow's birthday. So let us get more knowledge from him.
Sorry?
Shankaracharya's
Yeah, Shankara
Jayanti
Jayanti.
tomorrow.
Yeah. Yeah. So let us.
Namaste Guruji. Pranam.
Pranam. See, the best worship, I personally, is my view of any guru, is to study that guru's works. Just doing some puja for one day in a year and all, my personal feeling is not the actual way of worshipping the guru. When you want to worship a guru, you have to study what the guru's works are, follow the guru's advices. That is what is actually a offering to what we can offer to a guru like Adi Shankara. Okay, which is what we are doing every week.
Correct, Guruji.
So that way, for us, Shankara Jayanti comes once a week at least. So that is how it is. I don't mean to say that we must not formally celebrate Shankara Jayanti wherever near your homes. If there are any puja function being organized, please attend. It's a good thing. That is also one of the ways of, showing our reverence, our respect to our Sampradaya gurus. That also we must do, but this also we must do. Okay. Anyhow. So let us now chant the mantra number 2 of the second section. Sorry, first section, the second mundaka. Divyo hyamurtaha.
Divyo hyamurtaha.
Purushaha. Sabhahyabhyantaraha. Yajaha. Apranaha. Yamanaha. Shubhraha. Yaksharat paratah paraha. So as we are seeing, From this mantra onwards, the Upanishad is commencing the teaching of Nirgunam Brahman, which, as I said, is a very challenging subject. But eventually, the scriptures are able to successfully impart this teaching to some mumukshus who become jnanis and who are able to abide in that knowledge. These jnanis have been able to transform their lives, their attitudes, their behavior, etc. Of course, by the grace of God, and they are also able to abide in that knowledge. Thus, they become Jivan Muktas. For others who have to put in a lot of efforts, but for whom the abidance in the knowledge is still elusive, they have to keep trying. As the proverb goes, they have to try and try again, and you will succeed at last. Thus, the spiritual journey is one of persistence, patience, and determination, even in the face of setbacks. After embarking on this journey, success could come in this Janma itself, or it could take a couple of more Janmas for a mumukshu to reach the goal of Jivan Mukti. But the scriptures guarantee that there is never a question of if, but only a question of when. And therefore, the scriptures, they prescribe 3 important sadhanas to be employed in this journey. And they are what? Shravanam, Mananam, and Nididhyasanam. We are presently in the Shravanam stage, where the Upanishad is first imparting the knowledge of Brahman, highlighting the positive features and pointing out the features which are not present in Brahman. With this prakriya, the Upanishad expects all of us to gain the knowledge of Brahman, and eventually the Upanishad will end up saying that Brahman is none other than you yourself. So the whole process is gradually to lead the student to claim Aham Brahmasmi. And as far as Mundakopanishad is concerned, this process starts from this mantra. And as we have seen in this mantra, the Upanishad pointed out certain positive features of Brahman like Divyaha, Amurtaha, Purushaha, Sabhahyabhyantaraha, Shubhraha, and Aksharat Parataparaha. And the features which are absent in Brahman were mentioned as Pranaha and Manaha, to which Bhashyakara added Indriyaha and Indriya Vishayaha, and we supplemented with Shoka and Sukha and Dukkha. So these 5 features are absent in Brahman. So the mantra lists 6 positive features, and from the discussions and also our own additions, we have noted 5 features which are absent in Brahman. Therefore, any entity, object, or living being having one or more of these 5 features cannot be Brahman. Thus, using both type of features, positive and absent, present and absent, it is possible for us to zero in on what Brahman is. And from all this, one thing is very clear. And that is, whatever we have experienced till now in the world cannot be Brahman because of the presence of one or more features which are absent in Brahman. So we can safely say we have not come across Brahman till now. And from this we derive an important corollary that Brahman is not an entity which we have experienced till now. And also we will never be able to directly experience Brahman. Brahman is not an object of experience. This is the first revelation about Brahman which the Upanishad is trying to convey. And on the positive side, by saying that Brahman is Akshara Parataf Paraha, if the Upanishad is telling that if you have been considered the Maya Sahitam Brahman or Ishvara or God as the ultimate in the universe, as Jagat Karanam, the cause of the universe, and even though that Ishvara is superior to everything else in the universe, superior to the Karya Prapancha, still there is something which is beyond that Ishvara also, and that is Brahman. And therefore the Upanishad is telling us you better correct your understanding. And in the last class, we were discussing the following sentence of the Bhashya. We will read the sentence so that we are able to gain the continuity in the discussions. Okay. Ataha.
Guruji,
Yes.
Ataha.
Somebody wants to say?
exact reference, Guruji. Yeah, my internet connectivity has a problem. I just want to locate the particular line, Guruji. Can you exactly tell?
You go to the Bhashyam of mantra number 2.1.2.
2.1.2. Okay, Guruji. Okay. Okay. Divyaha. Divyaha.
Second Mundaka. Yeah, Dvitiya Mundaka. Pratama Khanda.
Yes,
Mantra
yes,
number 2.
Starting with
Bhashyam of that.
Okay, Guruji, that will be in purple. Correct. Divyaha.
Bhashyam will be in purple. Yes.
Divyaha. Thank you, Guruji. Sorry.
Got it?
Yeah, got it.
Okay. Now in that, I think the fourth or the fifth line, I think, or second paragraph, I don't remember. But I will read, you can repeat.
Okay, Guruji.
Ataha. Aksharat. Nama Rupa Bijopadhi. Lakshita Swarupat. Sarva Karya Karana Bijatvena. Upalakshamanatvat. Param. Tad Upadhi. Lakshanam. Avyakritakyam. Aksharam. Sarva Vikarebhyah. Okay. So now, I have, in the last class, I explained the words of this sentence, except the part which is Sarva Karya Karana Bijatvena Upalakshamanatvat Param. That portion I said we will take it up later. So, in this sentence, Bhashyakara is defining the word Aksharat, which is there in the Moolam. And he says here, the word Aksharat refers to Ishvara. And he describes that Ishvara with three adjectives. Tad upadi lakshanam, that is Mayopadi lakshanam, Avyakritakhyam and Aksharam. So, and this Ishvara is superior to Sarva Vikarebhya. And Sarva Vikara here refers to the universe, the cosmos, which is the Karya Prapancha for whom Ishvara is the Karana. So, since Karanam, the cause, is always superior to the Karyam, the product, Ishvara is superior to the universe. Up to this we saw in the last class. Now the question is, why is Ishvara superior to Karya Prapancha? For that, he gives the reason. And that reason is there in the part which I said we will take it up later, which we earlier skipped. Sarva Karya Karana Bijatvena Upalakshamanatvat Param. Upalakshamanatvat means revealed. And Ishvara is revealed as what? Bijatvena, as the seed or cause of the entire prapancha. Sarva Karya Karana. Karyam means all physical bodies. Physical bodies are called Karyam. Karanam means all subtle bodies. Antakaranam, including all prana, everything. And Karyam refers to Sukshma Shariram. So Karyam is Stula Shariram. Karyam Stula Shariram. Karanam Sukshma Shariram. Karya Karana means Stula Sukshma Sharira. In short, the entire universe of living being, for all of them, who is Ishvara? Bijatvena upalakshamanatvat. Bija means the seed, the cause. And we have seen upalakshamanatvat means revealed. So Ishvara is revealed. So we can translate the whole sentence as, since Ishvara is revealed as the cause of the entire universe, therefore Ishvara is superior to the universe. This is what Bhashyakara wants to convey. In fact, many times it happens in the Bhashya. All these things can be very simply conveyed in very simple words. That is, we have got three things: world, God, and Brahman. And if you want to grade them, what is the gradation? World is the lowermost, God is superior, God means Ishvara, and Brahman is superior to God also. This is the simple meaning of Aksharat Paratah Paraha in the mantra. But Bhashyakara, goes around and explains it in a very elaborate way. So, world, God, Brahman, Karyam, Karanam, Karya Karana Vilakshanam. This Karya Karana Vilakshanam Brahma is the real nature. But that is even Ishvara's real nature. Is Karya Karana Vilakshanam, but temporarily we are taking it as the Karana for the convenience of teaching. So Ishvara is neither Karyam nor Karana. But we are taking it as cause for the convenience of teaching for the present. Till we reach a stage where we will say everything is Brahman alone. Okay, in the next sentence, Bhashyakara summarizes this. That is what has been discussed. He says, Tasmat paratah aksharat parah nirupadika purushaha ityartah. Therefore, the conclusion is nirupadika purushaha. Nirguna Brahma is paraha, superior to aksharat, ishwarat. And what type of Ishvara? Parataha, which means superior. Superior to what? Superior to this world. And thus Bhashyakara is establishing the gradation of the inter-sea superiority between universe, Ishvara and Brahman. And Bhashyakara continues. He says, Yasmin tad akashakyamaksharam samvyavahara vishayam otam protancha. I think we have come across these two words, otam and protam. Isn't it? Literally means warp and woof. And this terminology is used in the context of weaving a cloth. The warp is the lengthwise thread and the woof is the crosswise thread. So figuratively, this otam and protam, which is very, very popular in Vedanta, signifies the intertwined elements that form the essential foundation or framework of a concept. And this phrase otam protancha occurs in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad in an important section called Akshara Brahmana. In fact, Brihadaranyaka 3rd chapter, there are 2 Brahmanas. 7th Brahmana is called Antaryami Brahmana and 8th Brahmana is called Akshara Brahmana. Antaryami Brahmana deals with Saguna Ishvara and Akshara Brahmana deal with Nirguna Brahma. And in that Akshara Brahmana, there is a beautiful dialogue between Gargi and Yajnavalkya. Gargi was one of the scholars in the court of King Janaka. Janaka himself was a very accomplished jnani. And he used to have this sadas, collect all the scholarly people, have a debate, discussion about various aspects of Vedanta. And we can see this in Chandogya Upanishad and also in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. And there is an interesting episode in the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. King Janaka had declared that he would give 1,000 cows with golden horns to the person who is Brahma Vittamaha. Tamah Pratyaya. So Brahmavit means knower of Brahman. Brahmavit Taraha means better knower of Brahman. And Brahmavit Tamaha means the best knower of Brahman. So whoever is declared as the best knower of Brahman will be given 1,000 cows with golden horns. Those days, of course, cattle was the wealth. These days, we will say, announce some 1 crore, 5 crore, 10 crore prize and all, isn't it? But those days, 1,000 cows was a very big wealth. And on hearing this, Yajnavalkya, who was a very senior scholar of Vedanta in Janaka's court, told his disciples, to take away the 1,000 cows away to his ashram. That was the level of his self-confidence. That he was sure that he will win the title of Brahma Vittamaha. It is like, something like even before the T20 match has started, one team goes and picks up the trophy. I'm talking about the final match, picks up the trophy. Therefore, naturally, the other scholars sitting there, they took strong objection. They questioned Yagyavalkya that even the Sadas has not started. How can you claim yourself to be Brahma Vittamaha? How can you declare yourself to be the winner even before the match has started? To which Yagyavalkya, with all humility, says, my namaskara to all those who consider themselves as Brahma Vittamaha. I am not claiming to be Brahma Vittamaha. I don't have any such abhimana. And I am ready to answer all your questions. Then the match started. The question and answer session started between Yagyavalkya and the other scholars present. And it runs into several mantras in the Upanishad. And Yagyavalkya satisfactorily answers all the challengers. And one of the challengers is Gargi, who was the most powerful challenger. Gargi was a Vedantic scholar, a profound Vedantic scholar of those days. And she was very confident of defeating Yagyavalkya. So the dialogue between her and Yagyavalkya goes for 2 rounds. In the first round, she asked some questions and her questions were very well answered by Yagyavalkya. Then in the second round, she rises with renewed confidence and addresses all the scholars assembled there. She says, Brahmana Bhagavantah Hanta Ahamimam Dvau Prashno Prakshyami. Hey Brahmanas, hey priests, hey scholars, please pay attention. I would like to take your permission to ask 2 questions to Yagyavalkya. See, this is how scholars they behave. They always, when they are in a congregation of other scholars, humility shows up. So, tau chen me vakshyati navai jatu yushmakam imam kaschit brahmodhyam jeteti. So she says, if he answers both the questions of mine, then you forget about winning him. This shows the confidence of Gargi also. Means what? If he is unable to answer my question, forget you people, your question, he will easily walk through them. So if he answers my questions, then nobody of you will be able to win over him in this discussion on Brahman. So there is also an indirect declaration. She says that you guys cannot defeat me also in the first place. Because I consider myself to be almost equivalent to Yagyavalkya, or even probably better than that, provided he is able to answer my 2 questions. And this level of confidence, we cannot call it as arrogance, because Gargi has been observing what other people asked. All other scholars have been asking very, very simple questions, which probably if the questions are put to us in this class, we also will be able to answer many of those questions. What to talk of a great scholar like Yagyavalkya. And it also indicates that I have got, Gargi says, I have got the two trump cards in my hand and I am going to play them. And I am sure, I am confident of defeating Yagyavalkya. And with this appeal, all Brahmanas says, Pricha Gargi, Gargi, you please go ahead and ask. Then what Gargi does, she does not go directly into the question straight away. She wants to play some mind games with Yagyavalkya. See, even these mind games and all were there even during Upanishad times. It is not new for all the cricket matches and all that happens now, playing mind game before the match starts. Psychologically weaken the opposite team. Similarly, she gives an example that her two questions are like two arrows. She says, Aham vai tva Yagyavalkya yata kashyo va vaideha va ugraputra ujyam danuhu adijyam kritva dau banavantau sapatnativyadhinau haste kritva upotishtet evam aham tvam dvabhyam prashanabhyam upodastam tau me bruhiti. So she gives the example of Kashya. Kashya means, Kashya is the king of Kashi. And Vaideha, king of Mithila, Videha Rajya. The essence of what she says is that, O Yagyavalkya, just as how in the battlefield, these kings will be holding the arrows in their hand, they will be holding powerful weapons which will defeat the enemy. Similarly, I am holding two questions in my mind for you, for which the undeterred Yagyavalkya says, Pricha Gargi iti, O Gargi, go ahead and ask. Then she asked the first question. Yad urdvam Yagyavalkya divo yad avak prithivya yad antara dhyava prithivi ime yad bhutam cha bhavacha bhavishyatcha ityachakshate kasmin dat otam cha protam cheti. She asked, O Yagyavalkya, what is that which is above heaven and below the earth, as well as between them, and which they say was, is, and will be, which is like that warp and woof, which unifies the whole universe? See, this is the question she is asking, for which Yagyavalkya replies, Yad urdvam gargi divo, yad avak prithivya, yad antara dhyava prithivi ime yad bhutam cha bhavaccha bhavishyatcha ityachakshata akashe tadotam cha protam cheti. He repeats the bulk of the question. And then his reply in the last part is Akashe tadotam cha protam cheti. He says everything is interwoven in this universe dependent upon Akasha. And here Akasha refers to Maya or Mayopadika Brahma or Ishvara. Gargi is happy with that answer. Then she goes further. Namastestu Yagyavalkya yo me etam vyavochaha aparasmai dharayasveti. My namaskara to you for giving me the answer to my first question. Now you take this second one. Once again, Yagyavalkya says, Pricha Gargi iti. Oh Gargi, go ahead and ask. Then she asks the second question. First repeats the question and then she asks, Kasminnu khalu akasha otascha protascheti. She says that Yagyavalkya, you said everything is interwoven in Akasha or Maya. But where is this Maya called Akasha is interwoven, is dependent? For which Yagyavalkya says, Etad vai tadaksharaha gargi brahmana abhivadanti astulam ananuho aharaswam adhirgam alohitam asneham achayam atamaha avayuhu anakasham asangham achakshushkam ashrotram avak amanaha atejaskam apranam amukham amatram anantaram abramham nattada tada ashnati kinchana natad ashnati kinchana natad ashnati kinchana. This is the answer which Yagyavalkya gives to the second question. So he says, O Gargi, the knowers of this Brahman say, this immutable Brahman, this Aksharam is that which is neither gross nor minute. Astulam ananuhu, neither gross nor minute, neither short or long, ahrasvam adhirgam, neither red color nor sticky, neither shadow nor darkness, neither air nor space, unattached, neither savor nor odor, without eyes or ears, without vocal organ or mind, non-luminous, without vital force or mouth, not a measure, without interior, exterior. It does not eat anything, nor it is eaten by anybody. In short, he says, that tattvam, that Brahma tattvam in which this Mayopadika Brahman or Ishvara is interwoven is called Aksharam. And here he uses the word Aksharam only for Nirupadika Nirguna Brahman and not Saguna Brahman. And that is why, I keep on repeating in Vedanta, certain terminologies will be occurring again and again. We have to interpret and understand those terminologies depending upon the context. Because here, contextually, he is describing Nirguna Brahman only and giving a detailed description. And in fact, this particular answer by Yajnavalkya is one of the basis for us to understand what Brahman is. Because here, both positive and negative, mostly negative, What Brahman is not, he is describing. Now, I gave you with this detailed background because Bhashyakara is using that word otam protam cha. This is the background. So warp and woof of the universe. The cross threads of the that which unifies the cross threads of the universe. Now, with this detailed background, let us understanding the meaning of the words used in Mundakopanishad. Because as I said, the same words can have different meaning in different Upanishads based on the context. And the first word is Aksharat, which Bhashyakara says it means Nama Rupa Bija Upadi Lakshita Swarupat, which is equal to Ishvara or Sagunam Brahman. Whereas in his reply to the second question of Gargi, Yajnavalkya has used the word Akshara to mean Nirgunam Brahman. So this is the first confusion which we would have in understanding the word Akshara. Then in Brihadaranyaka, the word Akasha is also used in the sense of Sagunam Brahman, Mayopadika Brahman. And in Mundakopanishad, while explaining the word Parataha, Bhashyakara says Aksharat Paraha. And here also the word Aksharat refers to Sagunam Brahman. And when he says Aksharat Paraha means Nirupadika Purusha Ityartaha. So he brings the meaning of Nirguna Brahman being superior to Saguna Brahman. And to substantiate this interpretation, he is relying again on Brihadaranyaka Vakyam of Yajnavalkya, which he rephrases and says, Yasmin tad Akashakyam Aksharam. Because there he has said Akashakyam. If you remember, Akashakyam Aksharam Samvyavahara Vishayam Otam Protancha. So for explaining Parataf Paraha, he says Yasmin, in which Tad, that Akashakyam, which is called Akasha. And here he is referring to the Brihadaranyaka Upanishad definition of Akasha as Sagunam Brahma, in which Ishvara was referred to as Aksharam in Mundakopanishad. So Brihadaranyaka Upanishad refers to Ishvara as Akasha. In Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, Ishvara is referred to as Aksharam in Mundakopanishad, which is Samvyavahara Vishayam. Samvyavahara Vishayam means adjective to Ishvara. So what type of Ishvara? Who is Vyavaharika Satyam, who falls within Vyavahara, that is Saguna Brahman, Sopadika Brahman. And such an Ishvara is Otam Protancha. And we have seen that this is an idiom used in Brihadaranyaka Upanishad, which means based upon literally, that is based upon two threads in weaving, literally the warp and woof. Therefore, Nirguna Brahman is the warp and woof of Ishvara also. Without Nirguna Brahman, Ishvara cannot have isness. The very existence of Ishvara is founded upon Nirguna Brahman. See, this is how complicated the language of Upanishad is. And that is why we require someone like Bhashyakara to explain all these things in a detailed manner. And more than Bhashyakara, because Bhashyakara has explained everything in Sanskrit. Most of us are not so proficient in Sanskrit to read the Bhashyam and directly understand. And that is why we have to go to gurus like Swami Dayananda, Saraswati, Swami Chinmayananda, Swami Paramathananda. So many gurus are there in the parampara who are very proficient in Sanskrit also, who have studied the Bhashyam, who have studied all the sub-commentaries, and then they are able to explain to us in English. And that is why, Bhashyam study is a very involved study. But because of that involved study, what happens after Bhashyam study? One is gradually, what I should say, right word I'm trying to find, gets absorbed in this entire subject matter of Brahman, Nirguna Brahman. That is what we have to appreciate. So Bhashyam study is not, as they say, just on the surface of it, we understand something, okay, no. Go deep into it. It's like, understanding the arguments in the Supreme Court. Very detailed arguments, go deep into the issues, legal issues. So anyhow, the final meaning of Paratap Para is that Nirupadika Brahman, that Nirguna Brahman, which is the Adhishtanam of everything, including Saguna Brahman, is the superior most in the universe. Paratap Paraha. So to sum up, in this mantra, what has been said is Ishvara is Karanam, world is the Karyam. Therefore, Ishvara is supporter of the world and therefore superior to the world. That is fine. But that Ishvara himself falls within Vyavaharika Satyam only. And therefore, Ishvara also does not have an existence of his or her own. So even Ishvara's existence is borrowed from Nirguna Brahman. And therefore, Brahman is the Adhishtanam for both Karya Prapancha and Karana Ishvara. This is the message. Now, with this, really speaking, the commentary on the mantra is over. Now, Bhashyakara is laying the ground for the next mantra. He is connecting what is said in this mantra with what is going to come in the next mantra. So, in this mantra, it was said that Purusha is apranaha, without the very life-giving force. But how this Purusha has got the status of being free from prana? So he raises a rhetorical question. Katham punaha apranadimatvam tasya ityuchyate. Katham punaha, how is it that apranadimatvam, there is a status of being free from prana. Tasya Purushasya. How this Purusha is free from prana, etc. Etc. means apart from apranaha, it was said amanaha. And as I said, Bhashyakara added adindriyaha and avishayaha. And we supplied asukha dukkhadi. Therefore, even though the mantra says only apranaha, amanaha, indirectly, this question is referring to the whole universe. In short, how is Brahman Nishprapancha is the question. How is Brahman separate from this entire Prapancha? Even though the Brahman is supporting the entire, is the Adhishtanam of the entire Prapancha. And we can include all these, in the etc. So, is apranadi, he says, right? Apranadibatvam. So, how this Purusha is free from prana, etc. Ityuchyate. If such a question is raised, the answer is given below, he says. And the answer is twofold. One is a simple answer, which is a logical answer, and another is a real answer, the Vedantic answer. The Vedantic answer is that both this prana and manaha are namarupatmakaha and therefore mithya. Being mithya, they are mere appearances and are as good as not being there. Mithya cannot create any real status for the entity. A mithya object cannot create real status for any real entity. For example, a child in the dream cannot make a person a real father. Similarly, the entire universe, being namarupatmakam, is mithya, and therefore mithya universe is as good as non-existence. It's only an appearance. Therefore, Brahman is free from the universe. Brahman is free from prapancha all the time. This is the real answer. Brahma sarvata nishprapancham eva prapanchasya avidyamanatvat. And that is what Krishna also says in the Gita. Nasato vidyate bhavaha. The world does not have bhavaha. This is the ultimate answer, Vedantic answer. But Bhashyakara here does not want to go into those higher levels of Vedanta. And therefore he gives a very simple answer, a contextual answer. And what is the context? The context was given in the first mantra, where it was said that Akshara Brahma is one from which all jivas are born. So here, Brahman, which is being talked about, is the one where creation has not yet started. Before creation, pranaha, manaha were not born because they are also part of creation. And since Sukshma Mahabhutas are not born, and pranaha, manaha are part of Sukshma Mahabhutas, Brahman is apranaha amanaha. Simple answer. And for that, Bhashyakara is giving a very interesting example. He says, suppose there is a person called Devadatta, and his son is going to be born after a few months. But now his son is not born. Now, how can we refer to this Devadatta as Saputraha? Or put it different way, how should we refer to this Devadatta? Aputraha or Saputraha? Because son is already conceived, is growing, even Devadatta's wife's Garbha, going to be born in a few days. But Devadatta has not yet become the father. He will not become one till the son is born. So at this time, obviously, Devadatta will be called Aputraha only. When the child is born, he will be called Saputraha. Similarly, here, Brahman In the context of Pralaya Avastha, unmanifest state of the universe is called Apranaha Amanaha. Because Brahman alone was there. And we have Pramana in the form of Chandogya Vakyam. Sadeva Saumya Idamagre Asit Ekameva Advitiyam. So in the beginning of creation, before creation, Idam Sat Eva Asit Ekameva Advitiyam. Advitiyam means non-dual. There was nothing else, no other entity. Brahman alone was there. And this is the simple logical answer. But this answer being simple, obviously it will lead to some questions. And one question which people will ask, and they will say, if before creation, if Brahman is Apranaha, Amanaha, that we understand. Then does that mean that after creation, Brahman will become Sapranaha and Samanaha? Because Devadatta example is given. After birth, he becomes Saputraha. Isn't it? This is a very logical question. And that question will be answered in the next mantra. Till then, we have to have patience. So with this background, let us see what Bhashyakara says, and we will read. We got 3 more minutes. We will just read. Yadihi.
Yadihi.
Once more. Yadihi.
Yadihi.
Pranadayaha.
Pranadayaha.
Prag utpattehe. Purushaha iva. Svenatmana santi. Tada purushasya. Pranadina. Vidyamanena. Pranadimatvam bhavet. Natute. Pranadayaha. I think am I repeating this thing?
Pragutpattehi.
No, not repeat. Natute pranadaya pragutpattehe.
Natute pranadaya pragutpattehi.
Pragutpattehe. Purusha iva. Svenatmana santi tada. Ato apranadiman. Paraha. Purushaha. Yata anutpanne. Putre. Aputro devadattaha. So, while reading this answer, we have to keep in mind the question which Bhashyakara has raised. Katam punaha apranadimatvam tasya ityuchyate. So for that, Bhashyakara, he himself is raising the question, he himself is giving the answer, and we will see the answer in detail in the next class. Okay, it's time now. Om Purnamada Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadhaya Purnamevachyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Hari Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om. Dhanyavad. Thank you all very much.
Thank you very much, Guruji.
Thank you,
Namaskaram.
Guruji. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Guruji, I have a question.
Thank you.
Thank you,
Yeah,
Guruji.
do devatas have prana?
Very much have prana. That's why we do prana pratishtha.
Okay.
Whenever we do puja, we do prana pratishtha, you know.
They are asharira, right? They are not having sharira.
Acharya, but prana is there. Sukshma, they are in Sukshma form. They don't have Stula Sharira as we have.
Like us. Mhm.
But they have Sukshma Sharira.
Mhm.
And that Sukshma Sharira is what we invoke in the idols or in the photo, etc. before the puja. So we invoke, we do Avahanam. And then at the end, they say Tata bye bye to the Sukshma Sharira, go away now, come again another day. Isn't it? So, Saguna Brahman, which is all Devas, they have prana. Only Brahman is aprana. Because all these
In
Saguna
Brahma
Brahman
Sutra,
are part of creation, isn't it?
yeah, in Brahma Sutra, Devadikarana, something is mentioned. It is very detailed.
But Devadi aprana.
No, Devadikarana in Brahma Sutra.
Okay, I have not gone to that Brahma Sutra. But I'm speaking from what I have learned from all other studies. So, if prana is not there, then we have nobody to give prana to the devatas. Isn't it?
Yeah.
Are we Jagat Karanam to give? Are we Brahman? Of course. If you look at it, we are Brahman. We can give prana. We are the cause of creation. But having said that, we have to look at it from a Karma Kanda point of view, which is devatas have got prana and avahayami, sthapayami, pujayami, then do prana pratishtha, and then do the shodashopachara puja, and at the end of it, we do yatasthanam pratishtabhayami shobhanarte kshemaya punaragamanaya cha. So devatas got 100%, but I will look up Brihadaranyaka Upanishad. What is the discussion there? I am sure the discussion will not be any different than what I am telling you in simple words. But I will try to look it up. Okay.
Okay.
And if there is any difference, I will clarify in the next class.
Okay.
Yes, Sulekha ji.
Namaste, Guruji.
Namaste.
I had a question about unmanifest, the unmanifest potential. Can it be considered to have existence? Is that even a relevant question, first of all? I'm not sure if it's maybe just details that we don't need to know, but I'm trying to understand this idea or this concept of the unmanifest potential, the Nirguna Brahman, and considering whether or not existence is considered part of the unmanifest.
If it does not exist, it will not become manifest. It exists in seed form. The question is, does the seed of a plant have existence? It does. But that is the seed which becomes a huge tree also. So existence is an aspect of Brahman. Brahman is always there. Brahman is what? Satchit and Ananda. That Satchit and Ananda is always there. It never goes out of the scene. So the seed, even in seed form, unmanifest form, the universe has got existence. And that existence also is borrowed from Brahman only.
Okay.
So manifestation,
Thank you.
unmanifestation does not mean going out of existence. It is existence being reduced to a seed form. That's all. That is the universe being reduced to a seed form which exists. That is what is the answer.
Thank you.
Okay. Hari Om.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Any other question?
Guruji, namaste.
Namaste.
Guruji, this quite a basic question. What are the Paryayavachi words for Ishvara?
Paryayavachi words.
Yeah, Ishvara. In what other words do we express Ishvara?
See, we have now seen Akshara is one word. Is used in Mundakopanishad.
Oh.
Akasha is another word which is being used in Upanishad. Isn't it? So, Mayopadikam, Sagunam.
Okay.
So many words are there. Every Upanishad, when we study, it may introduce a new terminology for Ishwar. Right? Now, from my personal point of view, as long as we understand all these things as Ishwara in the context of the particular Upanishad, we must not confuse the Ishwara or even for that matter Aksharam. Aksharam of the Mundakopanishad with Aksharam of Upanishad, we should not confuse. Because one context it is Nirguna Brahman, another context it is Saguna Brahman. Right?
Yeah.
So we can talk about all these things only in a specific context. What if there is any other Paryayavachi for Ishvara is there in the particular Upanishad or in a particular Grantha. We can't generalize and say, otherwise I should have been a PhD scholar in Upanishads, having studied all Upanishads, and done my thesis on that and then define Ishvara. How the Upanishads define Ishvara, then I would have probably collected all the details, which unfortunately I have not done and I will not be able to do it also, honestly speaking. So that is it.
Okay, Guruji. Thank you. Namaste. Thank you very much.
Yes, Arun Kumarji.
Sorry to hold you, Guruji. Just I couldn't understand Yagyavalka's reply to the second question of Gargi. While the first was clear, second question reply, I could.
Second question reply simply, Yagyavalkya says, that which is holding this entire universe like the warp and woof, the threads of a cloth, is an entity which he defines, which he gives the name as Aksharam and defines all the, as I would say, describes that entity with various adjectives. When if at all we happen to study Upanishad, we will study each of those adjectives, but then here itself we saw in this mantra, Divya hai, Amurta hai, Aprana hai, Amana hai, and all. All those, that in Brihadaranyaka, the list is far big. So that is all. That is what Yagyavalkya is describing, that Brahman, which is the entity which is superior to Akasha, which is Saguna Brahman, which gives existence to Saguna Brahman.
Hari Om, Guru.
Hari Om. Thank you.
Yagyavalkya, he ultimately turns out to be the Brahmadhyani, and so that happens, Guruji, and that
eventually he wins that. He gets the title of Brahma Vittamaha. And Gargi herself admits that as you are the most knowledgeable person so far as Brahman is concerned. And the way you have defined Brahman, described Brahman, I have not been able to understand it in that manner. I have been able to now understand that what that Brahman is. Because you see, as I said, it's very difficult to put in words. I mean, if you want to describe Brahman, you can go on describing it is not this, it is not this, it is not this. That is easier. Neti Prakya is very easy. Because there are crores of things in the universe. You can pick up everything and say this is not Brahman, this is not Brahman. What is Brahman to define is very, very difficult. That is why Yagyavalkya also is not defining what is that Aksharam. He is only defining all the aspects which are absent in Brahma. He is not in this, not this, not this, not this, like that. So that is how all the Upanishads proceed. So Neti Prakriya is a very important Prakriya. Because that is how we can understand, isn't it? I mean, what otherwise what you can't take photograph of Brahman and show it on a screen. Right?
Yeah.
And it's a very cognitive process. It is not a visual process. It is not a sound process or anything. It's it's only understanding what Brahman is understand. That's all. If we understand that Brahman is an entity which is there, which we can't see, which can't experience, we can't touch or taste or anything. But that is the one which is actually giving existence and consciousness to the entire universe. If we understand that entity is there, and that Brahman I am, then you have reached the goal post. You have reached the goal post.
Swami Tejabayanandaji of Chinmaya Mission, Swami Tejabayanandaji of Chinmaya Mission, they have brought out these Upanishadic stories in the small episodes under the title of Upanishad Ganga.
Yes.
And all these are there in short episodes in the YouTube.
Are there.
Yeah,
but through that, we will not get in-depth knowledge. That's good.
No,
as an introductory thing
yeah,
and all.
Yeah, this is like what you just discussed about Gargi and Yajnavalkya.
Yeah.
All these interesting
episodes.
What is the true happened truly.
Yeah.
So they have tried to bring out for the knowledge of a common man.
That is true. In fact, that I initially, when it came out, I saw a few episodes. Then, of course...
No, actually, they're quite klishta, Guruji. If I was not attending your classes, I don't think I would have understood what was going on there.
Sorry, I didn't get you.
If I was not attending your classes, I would not have understood what was going on. Okay. Yeah, it is that klishta. It's not for...
that is true.
Yeah.
I mean, from my side, it's more for promotional kind of a thing, to generate curiosity in you. So that you go to a guru and start learning it rather. Maybe 1,000 people, 1 or 2 may get curious. So that is that's okay. That's how marketing works, isn't it? So may be many, but actual sales may be only very few rather. So that is how it is. Anyhow.
Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you all very much. So we will...
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om. Next class, next Monday. Hari Om. Thank you.
Thank you, Guruji.
Hari Om.
Hari Om.